Imagine a solitary wooden door floating in a dark, zero-gravity void. No frame, no walls, completely free to tumble wildly in any direction. We often assume that maximum freedom is the ideal state for a system, but without constraints, unlimited possibility usually becomes noise. A door that can drift, spin, and roll through a room is a loose plank, not a functional tool. To make the door useful, you have to revoke its degrees of freedom. In engineering, a free-floating object has 6 axes of movement. Attaching a hinge isn't giving the door a new ability. You are destroying 5/6 of its movement privileges. Removing almost every possible trajectory reveals a single useful path. This mechanical restriction is what creates the function. In a system like this, structure isn't an accident. It's the result of reality saying no to almost everything else. This same logic governs the microscopic world. Even invisible energy and waves follow the rules of physical geometry. Look at a vibrating string. The fixed ends act as physical filters. They reject arbitrary, chaotic vibrations and only allow specific wave patterns to persist. The resulting musical note is the emergent outcome of matter negotiating with those boundaries. The note isn't inside the string, it's the only motion that fits the available space. These physical limits are reflected in our mathematics. Emmy Noether proved that the stable accounting of our universe, things like the conservation of energy and momentum, stems from continuous symmetries. These symmetries act as the ultimate constraints on how physical histories can unfold. Physical and mathematical boundaries act as channels, converting raw, unrestricted energy into stable, repeatable modes. Curious, in biology, the stakes are even higher. A living cell is a collection of molecules in constant chaotic motion. So how does that chaos reliably build a body? This is a hierarchical protein chain. Randomly guessed every possible shape it could take, it would never fold in time to support life. This is Levinthal's paradox. The search space is simply too large for a blind search to work. Biology solves this with an energy landscape, a soft constraint. Chemical interactions bias the protein's movement, weighting some configurations over others and funneling the chain toward a functional shape. These molecular shapes then scale up to create the primary chemical boundary of the entire cell, the membrane. The lipid bilayer works by hiding water-avoiding surfaces inside itself. This oily core creates a restricted border, preventing the unrestricted mixing of life's ingredients. It is a selective wall that allows the cell to maintain its internal identity. This is a hierarchical rule. Past constraint becomes future architecture. The restricted shape of the protein or the membrane becomes the physical wall that directs the next level of biological motion. This kinetic rule even applies to the way we think. Information processing is, at its core, a process of exclusion. If your brain responded equally to every sound, color, and internal sensation at once, the result would be overwhelming static. You would possess total input but zero awareness. This is why attention is an active constraint. Your brain purposefully blocks the motion of almost all sensory input so that one specific signal can survive. We see the same principle in computer logic gates and artificial intelligence. Computation is just physical possibility narrowed into reliable, predictable transitions. Intelligence is essentially physical noise narrowed into signals. Even imagination requires walls to keep the thoughts from dissolving into static. The universe's most effective guardrails are dynamic and highly adaptable. Consider homeostasis. These boundaries are maintained through behavioral countermotion and constant error correction. A living constraint knows exactly when to act as a wall and when to act as a doorway. We need this balance because failures happen at both extremes. Too little constraint produces chaotic noise, while too much constraint creates brittle, fatal fragility. Functional systems thrive in the middle. They maintain enough limitation to preserve their identity, but enough flexibility to survive a changing environment. To understand the world, we have to ask what is moving and what prevents everything else. Life, structure, and intelligence only appear when motion loses enough possibilities to finally become something.